On day 1, hey, that's me. I was hurtling down from space towards Earth on my calculator ship. I landed next to a bunch of letters and hopped off my ship, ignoring them as I walked past.
F.
Step aside, losers. I scanned the area with only one mission in mind. Find X. Where is he? I turned and saw him up on a hill. Gotcha!
X.
I moved past the Alphabet crew and sliced down X with a single blow. Easy peasy.
Oh!
I snagged his multiplication gem but overheard F and M talking urgently. I rushed over to see what they were saying.
M.
M transformed into Buff M and destroyed my calculator ship. He then turned to attack me alongside F. My ship! That was a crucial part of my plan. Now you're gonna pay. Since I was number 1, I was able to wield a math book that could send out explosive equations. The 2 letters went after me with everything they had. F was a skilled swordsman, while M tried to overpower me with his incredibly powerful ground pound attack. Unfortunately for them, my math book gave me the advantage of range. I continued to send out powerful lasers. Even though they tried to evade them, it was no use. I was able to weaken both of them bit by bit. I beat down Buff M until he returned to his normal form and turned to his friend. F tried his best to take me down, but to no avail. F was too weak to keep fighting. That's for breaking my ship! With the X-Gem now in my hands, I turned around and began to leave with my head held high. F yelled as I walked, declaring his vengeance against me. Count your blessings, foul letters! With this X-Gem, I will create the largest army of ones the universe has ever seen! Once it is complete, I will come back and destroy every last one of you! On day 2, now that I had X's gem, it was time to locate all the numbers to multiply my number 1 army. I'll show everyone who's number 1! I traveled far and wide until I spotted number 2 picking some flowers. Hey 2, look what I have!
2.
I placed down my new gem and together we spelt out the equation 1 times 2. Suddenly, 2 more 1s appeared out of nowhere.
1.
Wow, that worked better than I expected. Thanks 2.
2.
Suddenly, a dark shadow loomed over us, causing 2 to get spooked.
2.
Hey, where are you going? Huh? I looked up to find a mysterious symbol I had never seen before. What is that?
Infinity.
Before I could think, the symbol vaporized all the other ones in an instant. Oh my god! What have you done? On days 3 through 6, I stood face to face with an incredibly powerful being. Who do you think you are? You zapped my army!
Infinity.
You want to zap me too?
Infinity.
I tried attacking you with my math book power, but it wasn't phased. Oh my god! He's invincible! The Infinity came closer and attacked me with unparalleled strength. It sent beams at me and then spawned whirlwinds. I tried to run, but then it started using a freezing ability to freeze me in place. I dodged and shot at it the best I could, but my attacks were doing nothing. Then it started shooting at me with the same laser that killed the other ones. I used everything I had to defeat it, but it was no use. I was forced to flee. I ran into a hiding spot and shook Infinity off of my tail. I lost? Does this mean I'm not number 1 anymore? I watched as the symbol floated towards F and N, who were watching the whole time.
F.
F, N, and Infinity are hunting me down? If an army won't help, I'll have to find a different way to become number 1. Soon, Infinity will take over the world before I even get the chance! On days 7 through 9, I decided to get to work on a home base while I made a plan to take down Infinity. Ugh. Without my calculator, traveling has become a lot more difficult. I started by punching down some trees and crafting a wooden pickaxe. I then used it to gather stone and make some stone tools. Next, I found some sheep and slashed them down for their mutton and wool. With my new materials, I began to work on my personal one-shaped base. It was a lot of work, but I was making progress slowly but surely. As I was building, the number 0 walked up to me.
0.
Huh? Whoa! Hey, back off, 0! You're gonna reset my number.
0.
Stay back. Bad 0. You know what 1 times 0 equals, don't you?
This is 0?
That's right. It equals 0. So don't stand too close. 0 watched me as I finished up my base with a crafting bench, furnace, and chest. I even tried to make a double bed. Dang it! I don't have enough wool for 2.
0.
0 walked next to me, forming the number 10. Suddenly, 10 more wool appeared in my inventory. Huh. Maybe you're not so useless after all.
0.
I built Zero a quick room too, just in case I wanted to get some easy supplies later.
0, 0.
Huh? What's that, boy? You want to show me something? Lead the way! I followed Zero, and we came across a mysterious schoolhouse on days 10 through 11. What's in there?
0.
We stepped inside and began to investigate. After looking around for a bit, I stumbled across a book. Huh, what's this? I started reading it and was immediately intrigued. It explained the number prophecy and how the only way to defeat infinity is to find all 4 math symbols: division, addition, percentage, and multiplication. I already have X for multiplication, so I only need 3 more. Looks like I still have a chance to be number 1 after all. As we were leaving the schoolhouse, F made an appearance.
F.
0.
Zero ran away in fear, leaving me alone to deal with F.
F.
F jumped down and spelled out beast, which summoned a deified prowler. F fled the scene and I was all alone against the monster. The prowler lunged at me. I jumped away and it pounced again, slashing at me with its claws. I fought back using my stone axe and got several good swings in. It tried using its fangs to bite me and I took the hit, but used my math book to return the favor. This beast was tougher than I thought, taking the damage I dealt like it was nothing. I fended off the wild animal as much as I could until he eventually got much weaker. I finally took it down with one last blow and won. Didn't stand a chance. Huh? I realized the beast had dropped a map leading to an unknown location. This could be important for finding more equation gems. I left the schoolhouse and began following the trail. On days 12 through 14, I arrived at the location on the map to find a hidden laboratory. There, a massive monster stood guard. How bad can they be? Just then, a pig waddled by and the monster killed it in a single blow. Okay, looks like I'm sneaking in. I investigated the lab and found a hidden entrance around back to use instead. I infiltrated and carefully stuck around the halls until finding a mysterious item sitting on a pedestal. Ooh, is this some sort of sword or an equation gem? I broke down the pedestal and took it. This isn't a gem, but still could be very useful. Before I could investigate further, A appeared.
A.
I can explain. Out of nowhere, H flew up from the floor below, spelling A.
A.
H. Ah! It was a setup. Alarms began to blare and the monster came around the corner. Run! On days 15 through 18, I was on the run from the terrifying guard. I ran as fast as I could and ducked down into a hiding spot. I have to think fast. I quickly put on my sci-fi goggles and took advantage of its ability to see through walls. I navigated the lab, being sure to avoid the enraged monster that was seeking me out. Thanks to the goggles, I managed to escape. Ooh, that was close. But that gives me an idea. I explored the overworld and discovered A, B, and C all having a picnic together. Since they want to try and trap me, I'll have to return the favor. I took out some fence and built a pen around them before they could escape.
A.
C.
Gotcha! The letters began running around in a panic. Hey, cut it out!
C.
A.
When they stopped, they were now rearranged, spelling the word cab. Just as I suspected, a cab appeared out of thin air. This must be how Infinity was summoned, by spelling his name. So if I catch more of these letters, I can use them to do my bidding. Suddenly, it arrived out of nowhere. On days 19 through 21, I was confronted by N.
N.
Why would I let them go? With enough of you, I can have anything I want.
N.
Praise Infinity all you want. When I take him down, you'll all know who number 1 really is.
N.
In a fit of rage, In attacked me. I took out my Valhalla sword and slashed him down with my powerful blade. Each hit gave In levitation, but he used it to his advantage and ground pounded me from high above. I did my best to evade his attacks while getting in a few hits of my own. I even switched my math book to shoot projectiles from afar, but I could tell I wasn't getting anywhere. In's determination to save his friends was much greater than I had anticipated. It seemed like anytime I hit him with a serious blow, he brushed it off like it was nothing. Despite all of my efforts, I didn't stand a chance. I was forced to flee. I hopped into the newly created cab and drove off. It ain't my calculator, but it'll do for now. On days 22 through 24, I returned to the base to find Zero waiting for me.
Zero.
It's good to see you too, but don't get in my way. I got to work on some expansions, first completing Zero's house. After that, I continued building up the one until it was finally half finished. Tall and beautiful, just like me. Once I was finished, I went mining and gathered some iron ore and coal. I used my new materials to smelt iron ingots and upgraded to iron tools and an iron helmet. Suddenly, Zero came running in a frenzy.
Zero.
Did Infinity find me? I braced myself, but I realized he was only being chased by a herd of sheep. Lousy Zero. At least this gives me an idea. I made a sheep pen to house them so I could have plenty of wool for later. With that, my expansion was complete. Alright, time to look for a lead on equation symbols. Suddenly, an E hopped up and placed down a sign. E3 ahead? My friend 3 has always been a bit of a nerd. Maybe he'll be at the convention. On days 25 through 28, I arrived at E3, but it wasn't a comic convention. Instead, it was a convention full of people dressed as E's and 3's. Surely he's around here somewhere. I began to ask around to see if I could find him. Excuse me, are you 3?
What? I'm not 3. I'm 25 years old.
Are you 3?
What? Dude, I'm a B.
3?
That's a common mistake. My name is Threve.
Ugh, he could be anywhere! Just then, I spotted an equation gem for sale at one of the stands. Whoa, maybe I don't need 3 after all. I rushed over, but suddenly someone placed a sold sign next to it. No! Who bought it? 3! My friend 3 ran out and claimed the gem for himself. You bought it? Hand it over! 3 went at me with the power of his new gem. 3 immediately summoned fangs from the ground beneath us. The power of the gem was as powerful as I had imagined. Whenever he used it to his advantage, I dashed out of the way, but by the time I turned back, he had hidden amongst the other 3's. Fighting in a hall filled with E's and 3's made it much harder to fight. I couldn't tell which 3 was the real one. Suddenly, he popped out and attacked me with his sword. I used my Valhalla sword to levitate him up and launch a charge from my math book as he dropped down. Taking the fight away from the crowd, it was now much easier to pick him off and dwindle his health. Despite his efforts, I still managed to come out on top. 3 dropped the gem and I took it for myself, granting me an additional 5 hearts. 2 gems down, 2 to go. For days 29 through 31, I was feeling pretty good about getting my second gem. I think I'll celebrate with a bit of letter hunting. Let's set up a trap. I went into some caves and found a bit more coal and iron, crafted some shears, and began searching for spiders. Once I had found some, I killed them and used my shears to take their webs. I'm sheerishly good at this. Okay, yeah, that one was bad. Ignoring the awful pun, I left the caves and found a nice open area to set things up. I started to dig some holes and place webs at the bottom to trap whoever fell down. Perfect! With everything set up, I hid and waited. Eventually, an unsuspecting eye appeared. Yes, come on, fall on in! I hopped over one of the holes and fell into my trap. Score! I ran over and looked down, ready to retrieve and capture him, but once I saw him, I felt sad instead. I decided to let Ai out of the trap instead of hunting him. I tossed over some seeds and a water bucket for his gratitude. After that, he turned and left. What is this feeling? Am I happy? The new emotions made me feel tired, so I decided I needed some rest. On days 32 through 35, I wanted to clear my mind, so I went exploring. I was about to walk into a nearby forest when I heard yelling. Huh? Suddenly, 4 rushed over to me. 4! You want me to help you find something? Forget it! You 4s can't be trusted. 4! It's something unforgettable? Huh. Well, okay. I went with 4 and followed him over multiple biomes. Are we there yet? 4. After a while, he suddenly stopped and attacked me. What the heck, 4? This was a setup? 4. You're handing me over to Infinity? Not on my watch. I used my new division choppers to ward him off, but he threw dynamite at me. I slashed him with my levitation sword, making him fly up and giving him a good drop. He kept tossing explosives at me and I dodged while shooting back at him with my math book and choppers. He switched to trying to hit me with a sword, but I slashed him right back. He used more explosions, which tore up bits of the ground, but I managed to evade the majority of them. It was tough, but his overconfidence got the best of him. I used that to my advantage and defeated him once and for all. 4 ran off, leaving a letter in his place. Man, numbers can really be jerks. I picked up the letter and started to read what it said. To find the next equation gem, you must look to the sky. Looks like I have a new clue. On days 36 through 38, I looked towards the sky as the clue hinted, when suddenly K flew by. Is that a letter? I followed them until they finally took me to a strange fortress in the sky. That must be where the next gem is. It was high up, so I started using whatever materials I had on hand to build a pillar upwards. I was making good progress until Kay began to buzz around me. Ugh, back off! I swatted the letter away, but Kay wouldn't leave me alone. They continued to buzz around and eventually hit me off my pillar. A fall this high would have killed me. Luckily, I had my water bucket to save me from the impact. I'm getting nowhere like this. I need to rebuild my calculator to get past K. On days 39 through 42, I returned home to get to work on my base. I focused up and pretty quickly finished my one structure. One. After that, using the materials I got from I got to work on a garden. I made sure to make it big to account for my one clone army I planned to build. After that, I went mining and pretty quickly found diamond. Cha-ching! I returned to the surface and used them to make diamond boots. Once I was done, Zero walked up to me.
Zero.
You have a birthday gift for me? Nobody's ever remembered my birthday before. Zero excitedly tossed over a list of things I needed to rebuild my calculator. This is a great start. Thanks, Zero. Out of nowhere, 3 came up and attacked me. Although he gave it his all, I was much more powerful than they were. I took him out easy. I can't give you this gem back, but how about I build you a place to stay as compensation?
3.
I quickly got to work on a house. I made sure to make it look as much like 3 as possible. After a lot of work, I did just that.
3.
No need to apologize for attacking me. I get it.
3.
No problem. I'm glad you like it. I set off on days 43 through 45 to find the first item on my list, obsidian. I just needed some diamonds to make a diamond pickaxe. Unfortunately, I was all out. Dang it, I used all my diamonds up on boots. I gotta find more. I went down into some caves to start mining. I searched all over, but wasn't having much luck. There's gotta be some more diamonds somewhere. While I was digging, I ended up tunneling into a room with 2 doors. What the? Each door was labeled with a number, mine included. Huh, well of course I'll always pick 1. I opened the door hoping to find a nice prize, but instead I found F waiting for me.
F.
Ah! F jumped out and attacked me. He lunged at me with his diamond sword, and I fought back at him with everything I had. I used my math book to blast him, but it wasn't enough. I pulled out every power in my arsenal to take him down. He was fast and jumped around me, but he was no match for my barrage of attacks. Luckily, I was stronger than F, and he didn't have any backup this time to help. I hit him with a final blow and defeated him. I really have gotten stronger. I looked at F sitting there unconscious. I could have killed him then, but the strange feeling I had when I freed I came back again. Ugh, I'm out of here. I decided to spare F and started to leave. Back to finding Oh, there's some. I noticed diamonds in the room where I entered. How did I not see those earlier? Well, diamonds for me. I mined the diamonds and then went and found some lava. I poured water on the lava and collected what I came for. 1 piece down, 2 more to go. I turned and went off to the rest of the cave to continue my search. On days 46 through 49, I started searching for the second item on my list, gold. Well, I have obsidian now. Why not try the nether? I built a portal and hopped through it. When I arrived, I was already next to a bastion. Well, that's convenient. I went inside and mined the place for all the gold it had. Once I had enough, I was ready to leave when suddenly 8 ran up to me.
8.
7, 8, 9? Take me there! I followed 8 to find 7 alone, but he was bigger than usual. 7? Spit 9 out!
7.
7, do what I say. I'm number 1, remember?
7.
Hey, Infinity may have that title for now, but I'll show you. He had some kind of crazy ability that slashed me over and over. It also negated my levitation ability whenever it was activated, so I could barely use it. Luckily, I had my Valhalla sword, which kept smacking him up in the air, keeping him away from me. He was big and strong and kept hitting me with a flurry of blows, but he wasn't strong enough. Finally, I managed to take 7 down. Who's number 1 now? With his defeat, 7 spat out 9 like I asked him, and he returned to his normal size.
9.
Well, you're ungrateful. I'll just let you stay eaten next time. I continued my calculator quest on days 50 through 52. I just need some glass panes and I'll have the final piece. Guess I better get some sand. I traveled to a desert to get plenty of material. I gathered plenty of sand for my calculator ship, plus some extra just in case. Alright, time to head home and smelt all this. I was about to head out, but I noticed 5 off in the distance. It looked like he was walking into a desert pyramid. Wonder what he's up to. I followed and walked in myself, running into 5 at the entrance. Hey 5, what's going on?
5, 5, 5, 5, 5.
You're looking for the treasure here, and you'll share half if I help you?
5.
Well, sounds good to me. Let's get looking. We looked around for a bit with no luck. Finally, I looked at the pattern in the middle again. I wonder. I went to the middle and dug up the center block. Sure enough, there was a hole underneath and we could see some chests at the bottom.
5, 5, 5.
5, wait! I had noticed a trap at the bottom and managed to stop 5 just in time before he could jump down and set it off. Hang on, buddy. Let's disarm that trap first. I dug down carefully and broke the pressure plate. 5 then gathered the loot and we made our way back up. Nice! Can I have my half now?
5, 5.
What? But you promised!
5, 5, 5.
Rude! Give me my half! I moved towards 5 and he hit me back. Angry, I ran back and started to fight him. He started hitting me with his diamond sword, and I fought back with my Valhalla sword, and of course my math book. We went back and forth with attacks, but it was clear that 5 didn't stand a chance against my increasing power and abilities. I continued to show my intense power, and I could tell 5 was beginning to let up. This wasn't like my other encounters. They were actually a pushover. It didn't take long at all for 5 to surrender. He apologized and handed over my half of the loot.
5, 5, 5, 5.
Fine, I'll forgive you, but only if you come help me at my base.
5, 5.
Awesome. I'll see you later then. I took my loot and happily headed back home to finish my calculator. On days 53 through 55, I returned back to my base and immediately put the sand into a furnace. During the smelting process, I decided to do some building. I started replacing the majority of the blocks in my base with colored wool to make it more lively. It's looking better already. Just as I finished up, 5 arrived. I figured I still had time before the sand was finished up, so I built a house for him as well.
5, 5, 5, 5, 5.
Wow, being nice to others has brought me a lot of good fortune lately. While I was at it, I decided to do something nice for Zero as well. I began improving his room and made it more colorful, just as I did for mine. After completing the finishing touches, Zero had returned to see a surprise.
0, 0, 0.
I'm glad you like it. Seeing Zero's excitement for the improvements I did to his house felt really good. Now that that's finished, I better go check to see if the glass is done. I walked back to the furnace to collect the completed glass and began working on my vehicle. Using the ingredients, I rebuilt my calculator. Time to claim the next gem. On days 56 through 59, I now had my calculator rebuilt, so I could finally make it to the Sky Fortress. It's moving time. After a while, I spotted the fortress where Kay was still waiting. Unfortunately for them, my calculator was fast enough to fly by with ease. That was easy. I landed my ship and began to infiltrate the fortress. It was unlike anything I had ever seen before. Wow. After some searching, I found the next gem, but it was being guarded by a giant Dundus. It can never be easy, can it? Before I could get the surprise attack, the monster spotted me and charged in with the intent to kill. As the guard rushed towards me, I used my division gem to keep him at bay for as long as possible. It didn't take long for the Dundus to spawn a bunch of smaller tornadoes to attack me. The fight quickly became very overwhelming as the guard kept spawning more tornadoes and hitting me with a slam attack. I ran from the swarm of twisters and slashed them with my levitating sword. The mini tornadoes were pretty strong in their own, so I switched between different attacks to take them out. I then realized that the Dundus was healing itself. Running back, I started slashing and hitting it as fast as I could to keep it from healing in time. I needed to be extremely careful, or else there was a chance my enemies could sweep me off my feet and send me plummeting to my doom. I did what I could to stay in the middle of the platforms, but this was made difficult by the army of tornadoes. Luckily though, I was never knocked off to my death. After a long battle, I managed to take down the beast. It dropped a new sword called Keeper of the Clouds that allowed me to summon my own miniature tornadoes. Oh yeah! On days 60 through 62, I finally claimed the next equation gem. Its power gave me 5 additional hearts as well as a spiked shield. I can't wait to test this out. I hopped on my ship and touched back down to the ground. Just then, N emerged and stopped me in my tracks. You're still helping Infinity? N. Look, numbers are just bad news. Most of them have been jerks to me, and I'm a number 2. Look, I know I killed X. I'm sorry. Before I could finish, In lunged at me. I took out my Keeper of the Clouds and began to defend myself from In's onslaught. He was a one-trick pony with his punctuation gem, and although his ground pound attacks were powerful, I could tell I've grown stronger than our previous encounters. I overwhelmed him with my ever-growing arsenal of abilities until it was becoming one-sided. In realized he couldn't keep up much longer. He quickly fled the scene. Did I almost just apologize? On days 63 through 66, I was heading home when I spotted Infinity picking on 6. 6!
Infinity.
What do you want? Suddenly, Infinity zapped me, showing me a strange vision. The world was set entirely ablaze, and along the flaming landscape were numbers all dead on the ground. Infinity loomed over the rubble laughing.
Infinite.
Suddenly, I snapped out of the vision. You want infinite suffering? You're such a jerk! Wait a minute. That kinda sounds like me. Huh, bummer. I charged into battle. With the power of the 3 gems, I was confident I could take down the number. He piled on countless projectiles at me from the sky above. Each one that he managed to hit would deal massive damage, so I did my best to evade him. I shot at him with my math book projectiles and used my Keeper of the Clouds to move further into the air. When I was able to get up close, I slashed away, but the powerful deity wouldn't give up. We clashed and clashed, but I was beginning to weaken. Despite my efforts, Infinity was too powerful. Even with 3 gems, it's not enough.
Infinity.
I didn't stand a chance, so I took 6 and made a run for it. We returned home on days 67 through 70. 6 seemed very relieved. 6. You're welcome. Now let's get you a place to stay. I quickly built a home for 6 to match the others. He was very excited and ran inside right away. Glad he likes it. Now I think I'll get some more diamonds and upgrade. I went mining in another cave and found a much better haul of diamonds this time. Perfect. This is plenty for more armor. I took them home and crafted my diamonds into leggings. I'm much more sturdy now. Continuing to expand the base, I made some paths that went from house to house. Afterwards, I made an extravagant pool for only the best to lounge in. Now this is what it feels like to be number 1.
3!
Number 3 cannonballed into the pool without hesitation. Ugh, hey, come on, 3. I'm trying to relax here.
0!
0 jumped in after, and they both started having a little pool party. Well, at least they're having fun. Just then, 6 came up to me with important news. 6. You have a lead on the next gem? Let's go! On days 71 through 73, I arrived at a strange area with 6. There, a giant game board was on the ground. 6. I don't know what this is either. It looks like some kind of puzzle. Just then, a strange guardian emerged before us.
If you wish to get your next clue, you must beat me in a game of Floorball.
Floorball? What even is that?
It is a game that is of great fame.
I love games. Let's do it.
You look like you have something to prove, so I'll let you have the first move.
I examined the board closely, trying to carefully make my first move. I knew that every turn mattered in these games. Think, Max. Nah, this is boring.
Very well, foolish number. Then I'll bring you eternal slumber.
Suddenly, the Guardian attacked. He slashed me with his scythe, doing a good amount of damage. I sent my whirlwinds at him and used my math book to blast him, but he kept stumbling towards me. He hit me with his scepter and I dodged before sending chomping jaws in his direction. Suddenly, he started to summon mummies to aid him. I hit them with my swords and math book, but my vision went dark as the Guardian cast blindness on me. With both his army and himself attacking me, I was beginning to become overwhelmed. Still, I did what I could to remain focused. I honed in my abilities, shooting blasts and using my blades to thin the army. Over time, it was actually working. If I kept this up, they would be toast in no time. I kept fighting despite the low vision until it was just the Guardian left again. With one final hit, the Guardian went down. Upon his death, he dropped a map. Secret Club. This must be where the final gem is. I began traveling towards the location on my map to find the final equation gem. As night fell, phantoms suddenly swooped down to attack me. I guess I haven't slept in a minute. I used my mini tornadoes on them and they flew up to avoid them. They kept swooping in, but I shot at them with my equation book and slashed with my levitation sword that killed them off one by one. The swarm tried their best to take me down, but it was no use. I'm number 1, baby! Since I was reminded in my sleep, I decided to head home and get some rest. During my slumber, I had a very interesting nightmare. I was standing in front of my massive army of ones. Whoa, this is what I always wanted. As I was admiring my army, 0 came up to me crying.
0.
No, don't say that. I'd never hurt you, Zero. I tried to comfort him, but he started to run away. Zero, wait! Once he was gone, Infinity appeared before me.
Infinity!
What? You can't give my army orders!
One.
Huh? With Infinity's orders, the army of ones charged towards me. Ah! No, stop!
One.
Please, just make it stop! That was a terrible dream. I thought I always wanted world domination, but now, I'm not so sure. On days 77 through 80, I decided to get my mind off of the nightmare and follow the map I got from the game Guardian. I wonder what this secret club has waiting for me. After much travel, I finally arrived at the location, which turned out to be a comedy club. This is the place? Huh, not what I expected, but okay. I tried to make my way in, but was suddenly halted by a guard.
Whoa, you can't just walk in. The Funny Bone is the most prestigious comedy club. You got to prove yourself.
How do I do that? The guard then escorted me to another area where 7, 8, and 9 were waiting.
There's only room for one of you in the club, so you'll have to win a duel.
Come on, guys, I really need to get in there.
7.
You don't care about the club? You're only here out of spite?
7.
Just then, 7 used his sharp teeth to eat 9. What the? 7, 8, 9? Again? He grew 9 times bigger than before, causing 8 and the security guard to run for the hills, leaving me with the deranged number 7. All right, big guy, let's tango. 7 started shooting at me with a crazy new blast attack. I began dodging and shot back with my division gem. The strange orbs he shot were huge and difficult to avoid. On top of that, they were extremely fast. I did what I could to dodge and weave, but the occasional bullet still grazed me. Luckily, 7's large size made him an easier target. I used this to my advantage and hit him with my tornadoes and equation book abilities. My Keeper of the Cloud sword seemed to be the most effective, so I shot tornado after tornado at him in the hopes of lowering his health. It seemed to be helping. I wasn't gonna let him get away with this. I also sent my rows of teeth to bite him just like he had done to 9. 7's teeth were sharp, but my skills were sharper, making me the victor of the battle. Woohoo!
We have our winner! Go on ahead inside, champ.
On days 81 through 84, I made it inside of the club. The place was full of different numbers, and a comedian on stage was telling jokes.
Why was 6 afraid of 7? 'Cause 7 just killed somebody outside! Hey!
This place has a nice vibe. I was looking around the club when I spotted the final gem. There it is! I rushed over to it, but was quickly stopped by someone. Hey, what gives?
That's the prize for our champion comedians. If you can be the funniest jokester, then it's all yours. You dig?
You're on! I ran up to the stage just as the other comedians were being brought out.
Please welcome our 2 reigning champions, 2 and 4. 2, 2, 2. 4, 4, 4, 4.
You guys think you're funnier than me? We'll see about that. The 2 of them began their joke, and with their powers combined, they said something incredible.
2,
4,
24.
Oh my gosh, they're so good! How do I top that? Wait, suddenly I was hit with a stroke of genius. I couldn't believe I'd thought of something so good. You know what's funnier than 24? 25. The audience roared with laughter, topping over 2 and 4.
We have a new champion!
I was about to claim my prize, but then In swooped in and snatched it first. Hey, that's mine! On days 85 through 88, I was confronted by In, who had just taken my prize. Give that back! I won it fair and square! It's not for you? Then who's it for? Suddenly, Infinity blew the roof off of the club.
Infinity.
No, don't give it to him! He can't be trusted!
In?
You just gotta listen to me. He's worse than me! In was all of a sudden teleported to Infinity. He disregarded my pleas and gave the gem to him. No!
Infinity.
With the power of the gem, Infinity grew larger in size and far more powerful than ever.
Infinity, infinity, infinity.
Without warning, Infinity began shooting it in. That's what I was trying to tell you! He's a traitor! Infinity started blowing up the entire area, leaving us no choice but to flee. I gotta get back to my base. After a long trek, I made it back to the base exhausted.
0,
Oh, hey buddy. No, I didn't get the last gem. Infinity got it.
0, 0.
Thanks. You always know what to say. Hey, I'm sorry about being so mean when we first met.
0.
I guess you don't make many friends when you threaten to reset everyone. 0 times any number is always 0. But don't worry, I'm your friend now.
0.
That's right. Let's overcome this together. Just when I thought our troubles were over, Infinity was seen looming over our base. 0 and I were facing Infinity, and we didn't know what his intentions could be. What do you want, Infinity?
Infinity, infinity, infinity.
Suddenly, Infinity used his powers to make a cage appear around 0.
0.
0! No! What do you want with her?
Infinity, infinity, infinity.
You're going to use 0 to reset everything? You won't get away with this!
Infinite, infinite.
Before I could do anything to stop him, Infinity teleported away and took 0 with him. Not only that, but he left a cave hydra in his place. Ugh! Curse you, Infinity! I had no choice but to spring into action and fight the cave hydra. It charged me with the might of his 3 heads and tried to overwhelm me with its raw power. Luckily, I had a number of ranged attacks to keep it at bay. I shot my math projectiles at it and used my Keeper of the Clouds to send out vicious tornadoes. Whenever it got too close, I used my Valhalla sword to slash the beast away. The fight was intense, but gradually I began to overpower the horrible monster. Finally, I was able to defeat the Hydra, but all I could think about was my friend 0. I have to save 0 before it's too late, but I'm all alone again. On days 93 through 95, I was walking around, alone and sad. I guess 1 really is the loneliest number. I had no idea how I was going to stop Infinity and save 0 all by myself. During my travels, I spotted A and E trying to chop down a tree. Looks like without X still alive, they can't spell out axe. I gotta help. I walked over to the 2 of them and gave them an iron axe.
A?
I'm not here to hurt anyone. I just want to apologize for what I did to X. Hopefully this helps. With that, I left.
A.
As I was walking, I stopped on a hill to think about the journey I've been on. I wanted an army, but I've learned there's so much more to life than that. I just want everyone to be friends.
N?
I turned around to see N and F standing before me. N! F! I'm so glad you're here!
F.
I know I've been cruel to both of you and your friends. I'm so sorry for everything that I did. If I could take it back, I would.
N.
F.
My good friend has been taken by Infinity. Please, join my team. Let's take down Infinity together.
N.
F.
Awesome! Let's move! Feeling re-energized, I returned home with N and F to prepare for the final battle. But first, I built an area for N and F so they would feel at home.
N.
F.
I'm glad you like it. Next, I finished some last-minute building on the base and made sure everything was to my liking. I added some finishing touches and it was done. This place is much more lively. Finally, I went out mining for diamonds and made myself some more armor. I was ready. I think it's time to go. N, F, do you have any leads on the whereabouts of Infinity?
N.
You'll help me infiltrate the base?
F.
And you'll stay here and hold things down. That sounds like a great plan. I then left with N on our rescue mission. On day 99, N and I arrived at Infinity's base. This place is crazy.
N.
The 2 of us pressed onward until a 2-headed monster appeared right in our path. Out of my way! We charged at the thing, but it was super strong. The monster came at us and I shot at him with my equation book. It was weakened, but its heavy punch made up for it. N helped by attacking with their ground pound while I slashed them down with my blade. The big guy was strong, but his defenses surprisingly weren't the greatest. He swung at each of us, but we managed to dodge a good majority of his attacks. I continued to shoot him with my math book, and I could tell he wasn't too crazy about it. I took advantage of this, sending blast after blast his way. Eventually, we were able to take it down. Nice, let's keep moving.
N.
We pressed on deeper, and eventually we ran into a strange door. How are we supposed to get through here?
N.
You want me to use the equation gems on you? But there's no mathematical answer to a letter. We might end up in a void.
N.
It's the only way inside? Well, okay. Here goes nothing. I used the power of all my gems on N, and I was immediately teleported into the unknown. On day 100, I appeared in a void where Infinity was waiting with 0. Unfortunately for us, N was now trapped with him.
Infinity.
You knew we would find you here? Whatever the case, we're gonna take you down.
Infinity, infinity, infinity.
I won't let you reset this world. Let them go, or I'll show you who really is number one.
Infinity.
Bring it on! I grabbed my equation gems and began to attack. Infinity bombarded me with his incredible projectiles. Thanks to the power of the equation gem, he was even more unstoppable than before. He fired lasers in combination with purple attacks that set me on fire. I did my best to evade and send out counterattacks of my own. I used my Keeper of the Clouds to send tornadoes back at him, as well as my math projectiles and division chompers. Whenever he got too close, I would swing my Valhalla sword to disorient him, but he was the most difficult foe I had faced on my whole journey. No matter how much I attacked, Infinity wouldn't give in. Unfortunately, Infinity was getting the upper hand, so I needed to think of a way to stop him, and quick. During our battle, I managed to knock off the gem and claim it for myself.
Infinity.
Infinity shrunk back to his normal size while I grew and became super strong. Prepare to witness the power of one! With one final blow, I took down the Infinity and saved the universe! I'm number one! I then ran over to Zero and In and freed them from their prison.
Zero.
Now letters and numbers can live in harmony!